It's that time again. Welcome back. Last week we listened to the title track from Everything's album Supernatural. This week we're going to listen to track number 2. Weird how that works. And it's the one you're probably most familiar with. Don't need any big introduction for this, so shut up. Let's get started.
So near, the simple truth so very much clearer, yeah. Who got the hooch, baby? Who got the only sweetest thing in the world? Who got the love? Who got the freshy? Who got the only sweetest thing in the world? Begin to ring, the good vibes flow from me to you, yeah, yeah. The evening turns to night, and the fire and moonlight, the dance of all who came before, yeah, yeah, yeah. Who got the hooch, baby? Who got the only sweetest thing in the world? Who got the love? Who got the freshy? Who got the only sweetest thing in the world? Yeah. Let's get real, let's get heavy, till the water breaks the levee. Let's get loose, loose. Who got the hooch? Till the water breaks loose. Who got the hooch? Who got the hooch? Oh baby, baby. Who got the hooch? Oh baby, baby. Who got the hooch? Who got the sweetest thing in the world, baby, baby. Oh baby, baby.
I'm sure you're familiar with that one. That one was on the radio quite a bit, and in a couple of movies. Waterboy, I think we talked about being one of them. So, for a single, I think it's a great single, right? Because that kind of it fills a gap, like musically. If you're going to listen to the radio, you might have some Sublime, some 311. That kind of buffers up against that from one side, and then from the other side you got the more Dave Matthews Band, jam band kind of thing, a little fishish. And I think in terms of a song, it's just a good song. You know what I mean? It's not a great song. It's not a greatest song ever written. Wow, it's getting dark out there. I didn't realize that that was so bright. Well, it was, and now it's not. It's getting ready to storm. So I apologize for the lighting doing all this weird stuff. I need to figure out how to make the camera not do that on its own. So, as a song, it's a pretty good song. It's a solid tune. Um, Almost 4 minutes, edited down to the radio to make it just about 3. The radio version, the saxophone solo is a little less. Let's talk about the whole thing. And I encourage you, after we talk about it, go back and listen to it. Listen to it 2 or 3 times. Pardon me. And pick out different things to keep track of. One thing I would mention to keep track of and to listen is the little lead line that's ever present throughout the tune is played on a classical guitar, nylon string guitar. But that guitar is also doing, during the verses, it's doing the job of a piano. And if you listen, it's not doing a whole lot. It's just like a little chord stab just here and there, just a real quick blink, bloom, blink, bloom. It's real quick. It's real subtle. And it's hard to notice it unless you're really listening for it. But it's one of those things that if it wasn't there, you would feel like something needs to be there. Why they didn't choose to use a piano, I don't know. Because an electric piano does come in later, kind of mimicking that a little bit. That's okay. The other thing that guitar does is if you're listening with headphones or a good pair of speakers, it moves. Sometimes it's left ear, sometimes it's right ear, sometimes it's both. Most noticeable towards the end of the song, where everything that you've been hearing over here, you'll suddenly hear over here, and then it's gone again. So I like that they do stuff like that. I really like when they play with the space in a recording. Queen, excellent at doing things like that. If I could get away with it, I would say we could listen to a Prophet song, which I think is a great headphone testing song. It's a great song. Very medieval Ralph Bakshi, Conan the Barbarian kind of thing. Really great song, but really good for testing headphones because there's a lot going back and forth. None of this song is particularly complicated. The saxophone solo lives in the key of the song. It doesn't venture out of bounds like it did in the previous one. There's a little tiny break after the first verse where we get just this real short little saxophone line. And what they did on that is they reversed it like a reverse gate. What that means is when you have reverb, reverb comes in all different kinds, different shape sizes. There's like a room reverb, and there's a hall reverb, and a stage, and caves, and all these other different kinds of reverbs. And a reference gate is a very old school reverb used for referencing. Singers used it a lot, so you didn't hear in your own headphones really quite what was coming out of your mouth, but you heard it almost a split second later. It's hard to explain. You have to hear it. And I don't have a plug-in that I can just turn on right now to let you hear it because I don't have any VST plugins like that. But what the reverse gate does, and these reverbs, reference reverbs and gate reverbs, are very short. They're not big and broad like halls, stage, and outdoors and all that kind of stuff. They're very short. They're shorter than a room. They're a little longer than a plate. And a plate reverb basically means I've got a thing in front of me and the sound is bouncing off and coming back into my ears. That's what plate reverb means. What is written on this? Oh, didn't even know. Yeah. So plate reverb. So if you were singing or playing an instrument, Robert Johnson, the godfather of blues guitar, when he would record to get kind of this sound, he would sit in a corner, like microphone here, wall here, wall here, and he would play, and the sound of the guitar bouncing back off the walls would get picked up by the mic. So for a plate, you'd almost always have one headphone, and again, this wall is in front of you, and as you're singing and talking into it, it bounces back to your face. Try it sometime. Don't use anything soft. Paper towel, pillow, that gonna work. Don't use your cat. Something hard. That was even a little soft. CD case works great. Or if you've got one, a plate of something. God, it's light. We've almost got enough set up outside that I can maybe just put my big old fat head right there. Put the big old fat head right there. Big old fat head. Okay. It's like an eclipse, man. Anyway, so that's reference. What the reverse gate does is it takes just that echo, and it plays it backwards. So you think like you play the record backwards, and everything's reversed. It's that, but it's only the echo that is reversed. That's what that is. And it's interesting. They don't use it a lot. It's just that one thing. It's there, and then it goes away. And it adds a character to that little single line. I don't know why. I don't know that it really adds anything to the song, because it is just those 4 or 5 notes. Do 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 do. Yeah, 5 notes. And then it's gone. So I could have gone without it. A producer decided it needed to be there. That's fine. Bass guitar, nothing really exciting or interesting going on there. And the drums, it's steady, but it's relaxed. It's laid back, but it's tight. It's in the pocket where it needs to be. Saxophone solo, I think, is really good. And then after the saxophone solo, when we start getting into some of the choruses, a little electric guitar that comes in with a little wah pedal action, just and it's just a nice little, just sprinkles. That's one thing that I think everything the band does, at least in this album, I think really well. There's just, something doesn't exist until one moment, and then it's there, and then it makes you go, that's kind of neat, and then it's gone. Because if there's too much of it, it gets obnoxious. You don't notice it as much if it's there all the time, kind of a thing. So I appreciate the ability to hold back, and not go crazy with it. What else? Oh, harmonies, vocal harmonies. There are some really good vocal harmonies on this album, and there's not a whole lot in Supernatural, because I think it's mostly everybody just doubling lines, but here we get some really nice harmonies. And there's going to be a couple of songs later on, towards the end of this, that the harmonies are just, oh my God, they're wonderful. And one of the things that really just like turned me on to this album when I would listen to it all the way through, 'cause I was kind of half the kid who like, I want to hear the single over and over and over again. And the other half of me was like, this album start to finish, I need to hear it. And this is an album start to finish, I want to hear it. And when I listened to it the first time, I probably didn't appreciate it much. I knew it was good, but I couldn't communicate why it's good. And I can't communicate why I think it's good now, clearly, but I think it's good. And I'm really excited for you guys to get into some of these other tracks, because man, it's just, it's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. And I don't want to like spoil it. And I want to listen to it with you guys, but I don't want to skip ahead. So, that's going to be it for Hooch. I think it's a great song. I think it's very well produced. It makes sense that that's the single. There were a couple others on here that I think could have been second singles, B-sides, if you were. But we won't get to those for a little while yet. Our next track is not the most aggressive track on the album. It's one of them. It's hard for me to get, give any information other than the title. So the title of the next track we're going to do is The Real. And it's oddly enough, odd. I don't know if there's anything odd about it. It's almost exactly the same length as Hooch, making it one of the shorter tracks on the album. The Real. I think this is... Maybe I'm thinking of another one. One of them's got a really neat like saxophone intro, and it might not be this one. It might be a later track. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Give it another couple listens, either here in this video or elsewhere, and just try and find those other things that are popping up and out. And any questions, comments, or anything? I'd love to hear them. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, all that nonsense. I think it's time for a little high life. You know what I'm trying to say.